You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Daily Report, episode number 231.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that may be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we are so happy that you've chosen to spend part of your day with us. Today is April 10, 2025. It's a Thursday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School, producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, there were a handful of varsity baseball and softball games, the ones that were not rained out. IU's softball team looked to stay hot. Plus, we have news and notes and look ahead to a busy Thursday. But first, this is the part of the podcast where I beg you to go over to our YouTube page and subscribe. Even if you're already subscribed to Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, or Spotify, please go over to our YouTube page and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Earlier Thursday, we released the IU report with Grant Schaus. It was a good one. Grant talked about the newest members of the Hoosiers men's basketball team and potential targets in the portal and a little bit of IU baseball. Friday morning, we will release 5 questions that need answers with Will Rutherford, and Grant Schaus was the guest on that one. Plus, this weekend, we'll have our Elwood Panthers and Madison Grant Argyle's Spring Sports Media Day segments. Alexandria opened its varsity baseball season with a 5-inning, 12-2 win over Taylor. The Tigers trailed 2-1 through 2.5 innings before scoring 7 times in the third and 4 more in the fourth. They also out-hit Taylor 11-1. Griffin Cox and Brady Gast allowed just 1 hit combined and struck out 9 Titans. Dominic Schultz, Mason Fuller, Jackson Brizendine, and Gast all drove in 2 runs. Schultz was 2 for 3 with a double in his first varsity game. Keaton Wiley had the lone hit for Taylor. Caleb Santiago and Jacob Trueblood had RBIs in the loss. Eastbrook scored 6 times in the first and second innings and cruised to a 15-2 win over Westdale. Jacob McDermott was 3 for 3 and scored 3 times. Carter Doherty also scored 3 times. Austin Michael drove in a couple of runs for the 2-1 Panthers. Drake Fowler and Carter Flynn had doubles for the Warriors. The Western Panthers are 3-0 after shutting out Rossville 7-0 on the road Thursday. The Panthers scored 3 times in the first and 3 times in the second to control the game from start to finish. Jason Dickinson, Jaden McNulty, and Ashton Castillo combined on the 2-hitter. Offensively, Ryan Rodman hit a double and a home run and drove in 3. Man, is he a good one. And Kyler Norman was 2 for 3 and scored twice. Levi Shoemaker also homered in the win. Most of the games scheduled for Wednesday were postponed. 3 of them were postponed to today, Thursday. Mississinawa at Wabash, Mount Vernon at Delta, and Kokomo at Harrison. The other games were postponed with no makeup date yet. That's Madison Grant at Sheridan, North Central at Anderson, McConaughey at Marion, and Pendleton Heights at Yorktown. To varsity softball, the only game that was completed on Wednesday evening, Eastbrook exploded for 24 runs, including 8 in the first and 11th in the sixth, to beat Northwestern 24-8 in 6 innings. There were 35 hits in the game, led by Gracie Elliott's 5 for 6, 5-run, 6 RBI performance. She had a double and a home run in the win. Olivia Pomeroy was 4 for 6 with 4 doubles. And Delaney Elliott was 4 for 5 with a couple of doubles, a home run, 4 runs scored, and 6 RBIs. Tess Ortman led the Northwestern offense with 3 hits and 2 runs. Eastbrook is 2-0, Northwestern 0-2. Like I said, the rest of the games were postponed or canceled. No makeup games to report, so since there was only one game, this is the perfect day to tell you about the new Softball Coaches Association polls. LaPel is back at number 1 in 2A, and Madison Grant is back in the top 10 at number 10. 2 through 9 were Andrean, South Adams, Eastern, Hancock, Tecumseh, Brownstown, Sullivan, Rossville, and Eastside. Defending state champion Western remains number 1 in the 3A poll. New Pal is number 2. The rest of the top 10 is Gibson Southern, Silver Creek, Leo, Roncalli, Yorktown, Cathedral, reigning 2A champion Cascade, and South Bend St. Joseph. Center Grove is on top of the 4A poll, followed by Hamilton Southeastern, Lake Central, Fort Wayne, Carroll, Zionsville, Floyd Central, Avon, Penn, Castle, Brownsburg, and Noblesville. And Rising Sun is number 1 in the Class A poll. Regionally, Southwood is number 8. In track and field, Pendleton Heights swept Mount Vernon in a dual meet Wednesday. Keaton Jones won both sprints and was part of the winning 400-meter relay team. And on the girls' side, Maddie Pfister won the 200, 400, and Ava Gerald won the 800 and 1600. And both were on the Arabians' winning 1600-meter relay team, according to Rob Hunt of the Herald Bulletin. In college softball, IU won its 5th straight game Wednesday, 8-3 over Louisville in Bloomington. The Hoosiers broke a 2-2 tie with 4 runs in the 4th. Then Alex Cooper hit a 2-run homer in the 6th for the final result. Brianna Copeland, who should be an All-American, is 11-4 this season pitching and allowed just 3 runs on 3 hits and struck out 6 Cardinals in the win. Offensively, she had a single, drew 2 walks, and scored twice. Madeline Strader and Cooper each scored twice, and Avery Parker and Kinsey Mitchell had a pair of runs driven in. Purdue's home game against Eastern Illinois was rained out and moved to Thursday. And in college baseball, Indiana Wesleyan's game at Indiana Tech, scheduled for Wednesday, has been canceled. To some news and notes, Cowan boys basketball head coach Aaron Groves announced his retirement from coaching on Wednesday. Groves spent the last 5 years at Cowan and led the Blackhawks to a sectional championship in 2021. Also, Danville's Brian Barber stepped down as the boys basketball head coach, according to Kyle Neddenrip of the Indianapolis Star. In 23 years at Danville, Barber had 252 career wins, 12 sectional championships, and regional titles in 2000, 2010, 2018, and 2024. The Madison County Rising Stars will compete Saturday at Highland Middle School. The girls will start at 5 and the boys to follow. Over 600 tickets have already been sold, according to Rob Hunt. Tickets are $5. The players confirmed on the girls' side: Pendleton Heights All-State guard Casey Warfel and her teammate Emma Roberts and her teammate and sister Aubrey Warfel, plus Alexandria's Conley Davidson, Frankton's Layla Dietzer, Liberty Christian's Kamora Hawkins and Serenity Conyers, Elwood's Breland Morris and Samantha Dockery, Anderson Prep's Kaylin Orr, Clara Fulton and Olivia Peoples, Anderson's Kennedy Brown, Lamaria Turner, Altria Ellis, Nyla Macklin, and Muncie Central's Janiyah Johnson and Kai Hickey. The boys' roster will feature TJ English, Ty Wayne Fuller, Amarian Page and Christian Townsend, and KK Martin of Liberty Christian. Anderson Prep's Cameron Anderson, Zamarian Bryant, Lincoln Fathauer, and Marcus McLean. Pendleton's Ashawn Singh and Joe Estes. Elwood's Cam Gallegos. Anderson's Damian King, Titus Hunter, and Javon Winfield. LaPel's Luke Jones. Frankton's Trey Bennett, and Kalani McLeod of Anderson Homeschool. Heritage Christian has named Caleb Brink as its new head football coach. Brink came to Lawrence from Holland Christian in Michigan, where he was the offensive coordinator. The Associated Press named the girls' basketball All-State team Wednesday. The first team was Hamilton Southeastern's Maya Mikulski. She's Miss Basketball and headed to IU. Jayla Lampley of Lawrence Central. She'll play at Mississippi State next season. Noblesville Meredith Tipner, who is headed to Miami of Florida. South Bend, Washington's Kira Reynolds, and Columbia City's Addison Baxter. All 5 are seniors. Pendleton Heights' Casey Werfel and Hamilton Southeastern's Kennedy Holman were on the 3rd team. On Thursday, Western softball pitcher Kylie Miller is expected to sign her national letter of intent to continue her softball life at Georgetown College. New Albany star Chris Lampkins announced via Twitter that he will continue his basketball career at IUK. Former Marion Giant and Purdue Boilermaker star Rashia Kyle has announced that she's leaving Florida and is headed to Miami of Florida next season, where she'll join Meredith Tipner from Noblesville. Joe Tipton announced via Twitter that Sam Houston's Lamar Wilkerson will visit IU. He's narrowed down his list of potential landing spots to IU, Kentucky, Auburn, and Ole Miss. Alex Lasley of the Hoosier on 3 reported Wednesday that Indiana is in contact with College of Charleston big man Ante Brozovic. Brozovic is a 6'10 center from Croatia who averaged 18.4 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 2.8 assists while shooting 54.4% last season with the Cougars. He was named All-Colonial in 2024 and 25. Fisher's cornerback Carson Elam has signed his letter of intent with Wisconsin. He chose the Badgers over Michigan State, Purdue, Ball State, and Akron. Elam is a 3-star recruit and the 8th-ranked junior in Indiana's senior class. Hamilton Southeastern announced senior Blair Satterfield will play soccer at IU. Looking ahead to Thursday, the Indiana Pacers have won 5 in a row and host East-leading Cleveland. However, it's been announced that most of Cleveland's roster will be resting. The Pacers need a win or a Milwaukee Bucks loss to clinch home court in the first round of the playoffs. The Masters began Thursday morning. Scottie Scheffler is the reigning champion and has won 2 of the last 3. Tiger Woods looks to equal Jack Nicklaus's record 6 green jackets. Some highlights from Thursday's varsity schedules. 0-1 Elwood goes to Union in baseball. The rest of the baseball games. 1-0 Alexandria goes to Marion. 0-2 Delta hosts Mount Vernon. 1-1 Blackford goes to 1-0 Bluffton. 0-4 Tipton travels to 1-1 Clinton Central. And 0-1 Hamilton Heights hosts 0-1 Jay County. On the softball fields, it's 0-2 Marion at 1-0 Madison Grant, which is ranked 10th in Class 2A, as I just told you. 2-0 Eastbrook, which scored 24 runs on Wednesday, looks to repeat itself against Norwell, which is playing its first game of the season. 0-3 Eastern is at 1-0 Oak Hill, and 1-0 Anderson travels to 0-2 Hamilton Heights. On the track, it's Madison Grant and Southern Wells at Daleville, Eastern at Alexandria, and Mechaniqua at Oak Hill. In girls tennis, Elwood visits Burris. Alexandria goes to Greenfield Central. Mississinawa hosts Marion, and Blackford is at Muncie Central. In boys golf at Tipton Municipal, the host Blue Devils will take on Northwestern. And unified track and field, Blackford is at Pendleton Heights. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to see us continue to grow and thrive, please share these segments with your friends and family. We humbly thank you in advance. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.